Hi, welcome back to Renee Ruth Music.
Welcome back.
Hope everyone's doing well. Renee, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Excellent.
I know he's been trying not to tell me about this podcast all day today.
It's just kind of
because he likes to surprise me. So I never know what we're talking about.
No.
I mean, I know the topic, but I don't usually know any of the details till he says them to me. And that's why I ask like 100 questions he doesn't know the answers to.
Right, and I do my best.
We just keep going.
It's just fun.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about making the band.
That used to be a TV show.
It used to be a TV show.
Didn't it?
Actually, I think that's the one that Ash. I think that's the one that.
Is that what Ash was? Is that when started O-Town?
Yeah, I think O-Town was on Making the Band. It was.
He goes, it was. I remember.
Hilarious. Yeah, they were on Making the Band. Yeah.
Well, that would explain why I don't know that because I never watched it.
I never watched it. I just knew about it. But that's too funny. Well, we're talking about Making the Band because throughout the course of a musical career, oftentimes bands end up shuffling. You have people coming in and out, and you kind of have been in this process as well, even trying to get to where you've got, kind of have a solidified band for when you go on the road.
So
much, I know.
Well, it's like, so we grew up in an era where bands were the thing.
Yeah.
Like it was less about like the machine, like the created artist. It was before the boy bands.
Right.
So it was, Madonna was there, but it was like U2 and, Guster and, like I can't even think of these bands now. It's been so long. But I remember like looking at bands like U2 and being like, I love that. Like I love the camaraderie.
Right.
I love that they all work together to the same goal. Like I'm sure they have their differences, but it's all to create this incredible music. And I always wanted that. Like I was like, I want a band.
Yeah.
I want to find my band of musical brothers. And we go on and to create all the, so I think I had that dream. And then when I finally got to a place where I thought I was capable of chasing music, I was less inclined to have a band at that point because I actually, in my mind, I was like, I know I'll show up for rehearsal.
Right.
I know I'll write good music. I know, I can count on myself. If I bring anyone else in, it's like, I had this idea of feral cats, like trying to get them all to do something.
Right, exactly. Scrambling around. Who's going to show up? Who's not?
Right. So when we've had Fred to tell the Fred story where, who's like, he wanted to be my drummer. And I said, I don't want one. So like I did get to a point where I did not want a band. I was like, do this by myself. Because I know I will do this. I know I'll commit to this. Right. To Fred's credit, he's been with me the entire time.
Yes.
But we have, to your point, moved through many a musician. Yeah. many a musician. And now continue the shift again, which is what precipitated this whole podcast. Because it's, we're trying to move into, got offered to do a showcase. But the primary players from the pandemic aren't as available. Right. So we're not in a position to take advantage of that showcase. And so now I'm looking again for players. So now I think of them as players.
Right. No, like that.
I'm looking for players, people that for this season would be interested in rehearsing once a week, interested in a showcase, interested in that kind of thing. And interested in a show a month in this awesome space and, like a private show a month and paid. So yeah, I'm looking for that again. But it was just that feeling of like, starting over again. Like, here we go again. And I said to Chad, I'm like, do all the bands go through? Because I still look at the Beatles and U2 and like they have stuck together.
All those years.
Now, I feel like U2, we could do a podcast on them because I just absolutely love them. I think at one point over religious differences, they were going to split.
Oh, interesting.
I've got their biography that I read so long ago because I'm so infatuated with everything about them. Like, yeah.
No, I love that. Well, so what I ended up finding out, because of course I
he has to go digging.
I needed to know. To know.
Yeah.
So there are actually a lot of bands that have run through many players, and it's what I find so funny is you don't really hear about it. Like you don't.
No,
you
it's
don't
not
really...
until you go to Wikipedia and you look the band up, and there's like 20 band members.
Right.
You're like, this is a 4-piece band.
Right. Like what's going on?
Who are these members?
Yeah, and I mean, apparently it happens more often than we even realize because it's not something that gets I think as long as the frontman is still there, it's not something that you even pay attention to.
Especially if the frontman is like a figure.
Right, exactly.
Like U2 would not be U2 without Bono.
Yeah. So Fleetwood Mac's lineup is now at a total of 18 different players.
Now, Fleetwood Mac though maintains Stevie Nicks.
Yeah.
She's still around.
Yeah, so like it's still like maintained, like, and that's why I'm saying, like, as long as it maintains that front person, you tend to not realize all the ones on the back end. So,
well, yeah, because there's a whole bunch of people on stage.
Yeah. So I mean,
but Fleetwood Mac is not a specific person.
No,
kind of like U2, like
right. Yeah, I mean, even AC/DC has gone through more than a dozen members. The Doobie Brothers churned out at least 20 over the course of 50 years. So I mean, that's like there's a lot of big bands that have literally just gone through. Yeah. So what I found is there were, I think, what did I say, 6 major acts that still have all their original players.
Oh, I didn't know this. There's 6.
Yeah. So
well, U2 is one of them.
Yep, U2 is one of them. So they've been together 42 years. How do you stay together 42 years?
That's longer than most marriages.
I am 42. I was like, wait, this is as long as I've been alive. Oh my God. Yeah, they've been together 42 years and still all the original bandmates.
Which is remarkable too, because in time things happen of no one's design. Like someone passes away, or
right.
So
so the fact that they've all still healthy enough, and still wanting to be around. There was actually only one official U2 gig in the last 40 years that hasn't featured the whole crew.
Why?
Alcohol.
Well, he was too drunk.
I guess. Because it said
Irish.
Because it said the move was enough to scare him into ongoing sobriety.
Whoa.
Yeah, so he didn't want to miss it.
Who was it?
Clayton.
The drummer? Is he a drummer or bass? I love them so much. I know Bono and The Edge. I don't even know The Edge's actual real name. Clayton was the drummer.
I think it was the drummer. So yeah, put him right back into sobriety. But yeah, so there was only one in 42 years.
Imagine the guy that got to fill in for that show.
Right? That should be Wikipedia somewhere.
That's
right?
Clayton's favorite there. Yeah, that's awesome.
Adam Clayton was his name.
Adam.
Yeah.
That's the drummer.
So let's see. No, the drummer was Larry Mullen.
You're right. Larry's
so actually, Adam Clayton was the bassist.
Bass.
Yeah. So.
He played a little too hard.
Oh, wait, Stuart Morgan is the guy that replaced Clayton for that one show.
We know who that is? Stuart, where are you?
Stuart, what are you doing?
Oh my gosh.
What are you doing? You should be in Wikipedia.
Do you have them on your phone? Can you call them?
Like, yeah, seriously, what's happening? So another band was ZZ Top.
Really?
48 years together, all original
That's older than me.
members. I know, right? Isn't that insane? And then we have Kings of Leon. They keep popping up in our podcast.
What is happening?
What is going on with them right now?
First of all, I think I know like 2 Kings of Leon songs. But
I know a lot. I got really into them. They've been together 19 years.
Okay, so I could have had a band for 19 years.
Yeah. So it's actually 3 brothers and a cousin. I did not know this.
That's helpful to stick together.
I did not know that. So they said there have been some backstage fistfights, but it still did not.
100%. Look, I don't think that there aren't disagreements.
No.
I think, like, if you have that common goal, it's the common goal.
It is the common goal.
We've learned that with all the businesses you've been involved with,
right?
Chad. Like, if the common goal isn't shared by everybody, it doesn't move.
Correct.
You get stuck.
Yeah. I found it funny that it said the fistfights were usually because of the result of a few glasses of moonshine. Kings of Leon, what are you doing?
All good fights start with some moonshine. This is the thing, though. Like, Fred and I joke, like musicians, we get the rap for being drug and drinking, and that's like part of the job almost. Yeah. And Fred and I talked about it. Like, we've had our gigs where we had a good time, but that wasn't ever. I think at that point you have to have been elevated to a place where you don't have to be responsible enough that you can go off and do that kind of stuff. Like, I don't know how you.
Yeah.
But then there's like John Legend, who won't drink.
No.
And on tour, he goes to bed a decent hour. Like, he really takes care of his instrument. Like.
No, I love that.
It's wild. It's wild how people. Yeah.
Do you know the band Muse?
Love them so much. Why did you ask that question? Muse is amazing.
Been together 24 years.
I actually randomly put on a Muse album the other day.
Did you?
I was dipping back into the 90s.
Yeah, you were.
I was like, man, where's all that music I listened to? Like,
I know, that's fair. I've done that a lot.
Yeah, but Muse is one of them. They're phenomenal.
24 years they've been together.
Same band.
I
wonder if Our Lady Peace is the same. I don't know if they would have made that list.
Well, they weren't on the list of the top 7, so I don't know.
Well, they weren't that big. They're Canadian.
Oh, so I have to go back and look. I have to dig a little bit deeper.
Our Lady Peace.
Yeah, and then Coldplay was the last one. 22
All
years.
original.
All original.
Oh, man, I remember when they came out.
Right.
I remember going to see them in a show where there's like hardly no one there and some girl threw her underwear on stage. Yeah.
That's fair.
I was like, classy.
Yeah, right? Good job, Coldplay.
He's like, yeah, I think he made some snarky British remark too.
Yeah, no, that's fair. But I just find it so remarkable that they can be together for decades.
I can't even hang a marriage.
Right? Fair. But yeah, I mean, it's just, and I think that's the thing is that there's got to be a lot of passion involved. There has to be a common goal.
It's that common goal. And I actually think if you were to look at the marriages that don't make it, you could probably come back to that same thing.
Yeah.
That the goal getting into the marriage was that goal might have been common, but the foundation of life goals were different.
Yeah.
So like the goal to be like now I'm dipping into like psychology. There's too many hats that we wear. I can't stay in one space.
Too many.
But yeah, like the same with a band. Like if you're gonna get together and stay together that long, what will hold you together is a common goal in the face of, labels dropping you, negativity, like whatever. The goal will keep you there.
Yeah, and to be in the spotlight too. That's what gets me.
Well, they get talked about 24/7. Like,
be in the spotlight
I'm sure we listed some of those bands, and somebody listening is like, because we always have something to say. We just, as humans, we have something to say.
Always something to say.
Something to say.
But what I found very interesting, and I could not hold my tongue on this one.
He mentioned it this morning. I was like,
mention this morning because it was too crazy. There are actually 13 bands with no original members still in it, which I was like, that's also I find very.
I wonder how many people, when you say these names, will be like, yeah, I know, because you actually followed. Like, I think that there's a level.
That's true.
Of a level of commitment, maybe, to kind of an art.
Right, but what I find odd about that though is that you get so attached to a singer. So
that's why the whole journey thing is so mind blowing to me. But that guy came in and sounds just like him, so I guess. Close your eyes.
I guess you can find it. Yeah. I guess you can find it.
It's Steve Perry. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, we're only going to talk about 2 because those are the only 2 that I recognized. So
the other ones were like just no name. Anyway.
I had no idea. Yeah. I'm like they were like either like really older, like really old bands. That I mean, these ones are old, and I still knew these ones. So the fact that the other ones I had no idea were just very foreign to me.
Well, here's kind of an interesting thing. So speaking about old for a second, I was able for a couple of years to open. So somehow the Louisa Fine Arts Center in Virginia was bringing in older big names. So Jefferson Starship. Okay. I opened for.
Yeah.
Which I think they ended up just being called Starship.
I think so. I remember that sounds familiar.
Well, and no, the original singer was still heading that band up, and everyone else had changed, but it was still him.
That's crazy.
And I remember we opened outside and then saw them play, and then the next year it was this collaboration of the last living original singer of the Temptations, the last living original singer of the. It was like 3 of those Motown from that far back. Yeah,
that's way far
and
back.
They had the same jackets. They did the dances. But then everybody else behind them was new. So there's this like sidebar resurgence. Like they're not doing obviously big arenas. They're doing they're rolling these little tiny things that we were opening for, and yeah, it was actually pretty fun. But yeah, so in that case, like if they're older, it would be interesting to see how long the Temptations, how long that name goes.
Right.
Beyond the original artist, but they're still playing.
Yeah, no, it's true. So the one band is Heart. You remember Heart?
I freaking love Heart.
I love Heart.
There's a cover I do of Heart that I'm playing it right now. Yeah,
right? I love Heart. Yeah. Nobody. None of the originals. None of them. They were. I mean, they were
They're
like
an 80s hair band.
I mean, they were all the way back to '67.
Heart?
Yeah.
The song I know is from the 80s.
Yeah. So I mean, they've been going for a long time.
This
so
is
like
to my point. They're like
they're just reinventing. So like when it got really successful was when it was Nancy and Ann Wilson led Heart to the
Wilson sisters.
Yeah. So they led it. So that was in the '70s. So
I think they're responsible for the song that I cover.
Yeah, I think they are.
In the 80s.
I think those are all the ones that I remember.
Yeah.
I think
I don't remember the 70s.
when it was them.
We missed the 70s, let's be honest.
Oh, it's true. They were so good.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, and so now Nancy Wilson announced her own version of Heart in 2022. Girl's still kicking.
What? Her own version? What?
I have no idea what that means. So I guess maybe Anna's gone. So maybe she's like doing something on her own. I need to research that one a little bit more.
Wild. Okay.
Yeah. The other one is Blood, Sweat, and Tears.
So wait,
okay.
What song did they do in the 90s?
Oh,
come on. I know they did a lot, but there's one big one. Come on, Chad.
Blood, Sweat, and Tears.
Come on. It was like the big... And so you got to remember, in the 90s, we didn't have Shazam. We didn't have...
No, we did not.
We had the radio and a disc jockey who you had to hope told you the name of the song so you could go find it at the HMV in the mall later that weekend with your $20 you saved up because CDs cost $20.
Yeah.
Remember $19.99, like a brand new CD? I mean, yeah. So... Blood, Sweat, and Tears. I remember because I was listening because there's a song. Now I'm going to have to Google it when this is over.
Look it up. Yeah.
But they have no original members.
No original ones.
How old are they?
I mean, that was also 1967.
What?
Yeah. So the original lineup did not last past their first album.
That sounds like my life.
Right. So, yeah.
And here's the thing. Again, this comes back. Because I'm looking at this from a very personal space. It comes back to, like, if I looked at all the bandmates that I've ever had, even Fred, like, when we met, he had his own project, you know, and he was happy to be a part of mine, but he had his own project, you know, and it took this so many years later for him to be like, no, I've bought into your project. You know what I'm saying? So until Fred, most recently, like, in the last 6 months, nobody shared my vision for my project. They were just willing to play.
Right.
Does that make sense?
No, that does.
So I am just like, I would cook for them and I'm trying so desperately to like create this little family and like, cause I've always just wanted a family and like just trying so hard and, you know, and them being grateful and, you know, participating, but you know, they have other aspirations and they just weren't mine. So, you know, it's like, well, do I just be a solo? But there's just a piece of me that I play an instrument. I'm not just a voice and a songwriter. Like I want a band.
Well, because I think at that point, I mean, if you're together for decades, how are you not in a family dynamic?
That's what I felt that so intensely with you too.
Yeah.
I just felt that. Like families fight, families bicker, families, you know.
They're gonna go through things.
But you're doing this thing called life together, and we have learned so many times because we have like a mindset podcast, and it's like before I even read the books and even looked into it, I innately knew 12 years ago I can move this faster if I find people who see what I see,
right? And
we chase the same thing.
Yeah.
And I think my downfall is I held on to people longer than I should have, thinking I could convince them. It's almost like, you know, trying to date the guy who sees you as a friend. You're like, one day he'll see me. Like, no, he won't, sister.
He won't.
If he doesn't see you yet, leave. It's not like, because what you're doing is you're letting all the other opportunities pass by.
Right.
Because you're holding on to this thing that you think you're going to, you know, and I did that. I've done that. And not just in my bands. Like I've done, even just recently in real estate. Like I actually just said to Chad this time, like, don't let me hold on. Like the second it starts to seem sideways, I need to let it go. Like I need to learn to let go quicker. And every successful person, in fact, even when we're in the virtual assistants, we hire VAs, and they've even said, they're like, your business you need to move through VAs quickly until you find the ones that work. And I was like, that's like a life skill.
Right? No, it's so
like, you need to move through that quickly until you find the one that works. And that's how you actually get to do this life thing on, you know, hyperdrive, where the rest of us are like fighting for this to be the thing. And like, oh.
No, it's just, So
I'm actively looking for bands.
Right.
It hasn't slowed. Like it doesn't, you know, I heard a question in my head. You know, it's not that the project I'm on is stalled out because of it.
No.
I'm currently pitching all the 2 albums I have to, you know, like it's motion. It's just the band is like having a live performance is such a part of my soul. I know that I can't not pursue who the next people are, you know, in that venture. And I think it's different too, because like everyone that you've suggested, Heart or Fleetwood Mac or all these bands, there's no name.
Right. Oh no, that's true.
It's not like Justin Timberlake and now someone else is Justin Timberlake. It's like
no, that's true.
Like there's no name. And I think that was also something that I realized is that like I've been operating on my name. And I did try at one point for a band name. One time I got convinced to call us RP3 because there were 3 of us in the band at that particular version. And I just kept thinking it sounded like R2D2. Like I just never, I really didn't want the name. And then I took the name for a minute and I never liked that name. And then it was Renee Ruth Band because I was trying for an actual band, like, you know, like the Zach Brown Band, like, you know, like that kind of thing. And then that didn't work.
Dave Matthews Band.
Right. Yeah. I don't know how many of those players are still been with him that entire time, but there's that. And like Phil Vassar would come and play here and he would have like these guys that played with him and that have been with him his entire career.
That's amazing.
Like a guitar player, but not everyone. Like, oh, this is my new sax player. This is my new, you know. So part of me had to kind of come to the place where I'm like, maybe that's not your journey.
Well, I mean, and again, I feel like maybe for the people that do leave, maybe it was just a job for them.
There's no maybe about that.
Like
and maybe, and what the maybe might be that they did at one time think that that was what they might want to support or go after. So there wasn't any dishonesty in it. It's just, you know, eventually it was like they have other aspirations. And that's fine. I mean, you're listening to a podcast of an artist whose music you may not like. And I'm so okay with that. I'm fine. Right. So, and that's just it. Like they may have saw the dream, saw the possibility, saw whatever, and thought, oh, I'm going to jump on this wagon. But it wasn't like, not every musician likes my music. Right. You know, like I'm actually asking who wants to be part of a pop project. Right. Because it's pop. Yeah. Well, if you are country and don't like pop, this is not for you.
Not for you. Not going to work. So, well, we'll have to come back to it and see how the journey is going.
I know. I'm just putting the feelers out right now. So we'll see.
I love it. You want a fun fact?
Oh, yeah. Fun Fact Friday.
Fun Fact Friday. This is a great fun fact.
It's a great one.
I like this one. So Eminem, which we don't
like the
talk
candy.
About him.
No, we're not really in that space.
We're not in that space. No. But he has a record. And the record is his song Rap God has the most words.
Words?
Most words in any song.
How many?
1,560 words.
What's the average song?
I have no idea, but because you have to think that a lot of songs have the same words.
Well, think about when you were, repeated.
Like
so
repeated
he's talking about unique words.
Yeah.
You think about the fact that like you have to write a school paper.
Right.
And they need it to be 1,000 words.
Yeah.
Which ends up being like pages.
Yeah.
And you're like, this dude's got a song of 1,000 words. Like, does he remember all those words?
I was going to say, imagine having to remember. I mean, and he does like rap songs, obviously.
No, so he gets to use a lot of words.
And
rap
it also lets you,
fast. Well, a lot of words. Yeah. But that's remarkable.
Isn't that amazing?
Leave it to Chad to find the fun facts. I love that.
Facts.
I know. Everyone's missing out. These are so great. I love it.
Well, thank you.
Thank you for doing that. Yeah. Till next time.
We'll see you.
Cheers.